I think an important contribution of John Paul II's teaching on human love to the wider church is that I think he's giving the wider faithful the means whereby to fulfill the call that exists at the heart of the new evangelization, which is the call to holiness, the call to sainthood. And as we know, part of sanctity is to believe in the church's teachings and to order and live your life accordingly. Sometimes, though, given our cultural climate, it can be difficult to understand the church's teachings. It can. And I think something that John Paul II has to say on the matter is that it's not only difficult to understand the church's teachings because the culture around us sort of promotes positions or opinions that are contrary to the church's teachings, but it's also because those opinions that maybe are contrary to the teachings of the church arise out of a conception of the human person. They arise out of a less than adequate, what John Paul II calls anthropology, one that is less than adequate to communicate the Christian vision of man that has been held for 2,000 years and has been elucidated by him. So I think it's important to see that when Christ took flesh and became man, he revealed definitively what it means to be a human, what it means to be a human person. John Paul II is attempting to give us an adequate anthropology to communicate what that means, what Christ revealed to us, using both the Old Testament and the New Testament. Because if you use the less than adequate anthropology of the culture to try to understand the teachings of the church, they may be somewhat opaque to you. With the given understandings of love that our culture gives, it will be hard to see why marriages ought to be indissoluble. You know, that's hard when marriage is understood as the sort of pure contract and with a love that operates basically on emotion. It's hard to see, you know. But if you see and understand the church's teachings from the perspective of John Paul II's adequate anthropology, which sees man as created in love and for love, I think the church's teachings will not only become comprehensible, but desirable. They will become an answer to the call that lies deepest in your being, even though, again, it's crowded and sometimes drowned out by the sin that we've committed and also by the culture of the day. But it will be the answer to the love that your heart seeks.